Good morning, beautiful beings. This is Gypsy Jess, the Modern Priestess, with a general energy reading for you. As you will see, I'm in a different space than usual. It's been a few days since I posted. I'm in the process of a move, and in my infinite wisdom, I packed up all the things that I wanted to bring absolutely in my first load, and somehow I managed to bring 0 of my decks or usual reading items. So went out and got a couple new decks, which I'm going to introduce you to. So first we have the Tarot of the Nile. Really love this deck. I love that it's primarily an Egyptian focus. So we've got pharaohs and mummies. I've already given it a real good shuffle. It handles beautifully, shuffles very nicely. I'll shuffle it again, but I've given it a good go around before we got started here. And then the Shamanic Healing Oracle cards. Again, I gave these a good little shuffle and bend. These two decks stood out to me. They're very beautiful. Handle very nicely. And then happened to find some matching palm stones nearby. So of course I had to get those, and it just kind of signaled to me that those were the decks I was absolutely supposed to get. So we've got blue gold stone, which is actually a quartz-based stone, for calming, to work calming, but also energizing, for morning people. So like myself, if you're kind of a grumpy Gus first thing when you wake up, this is energizing. As is the tiger's eye that I have today. With the blue gold stone, though, great for Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer to work with in terms of the sexual chakras. Obviously you get that deep water consciousness look to it and feel. So I've already given my decks and the stones a little rub down with some clary sage. Drank some sage this morning. Just want to kind of touch on purification right before whenever you're in a new space. I mean, I've been in this new space, and one of the first things I do, clean or not, doesn't matter, is I clean edges, clean walls, do everything with natural oils. So for me, I really like lemongrass, sage, lavender, and tea tree. The lemongrass is going to naturally deter bugs. The sage, obviously, cleansing, energetic cleansing. Lavender for relaxation. And then that tea tree, which is a wonderful oil. You can use it for a million different things, but that's also a natural, antibacterial. So that and a big pool of water with a little Dove soap is going to be one of the most awesome natural cleaning baths for around the house. Very gentle if you have kids and animals, so I definitely encourage that. And then obviously yesterday throughout the house I burned an entire bundle of white sage. It just kept going. And then I've given it a good go over this morning with dragon's blood, which obviously isn't dragon's blood, but for more of the heavy psychic cleansing. So just remember, occasional or regular cleansing of your spaces and your person, very important, especially when you're going into new spaces. You don't know what's been there or what is there. You want to make sure you don't bring anything with you from other people, especially if you're a highly sensitive, intuitive. If you're watching this, it's very likely that you are. So making sure you're using herbs to clean your own energy, meditating, releasing, grounding, and protection, so you don't have everybody else's stuff coming in all the time. You'll also notice that yes, I'm already in the festive mood. The tree is up. I'm going to be traveling a lot for the holidays, so I'm not actually going to get to enjoy it much. So I wanted to make sure it was up. And then my Divine Masculine, Ashley, is now home from a trip, and I wanted to make sure you could enjoy it as well. So all that to say hi. I missed you guys. I've been itching to read. So we had to go out and get some decks, and here we are. So I'm gonna take a drink and go ahead and get started. I hope you are all so well. All right, so we're going to start with the Shamanic Healing Oracle cards to get overall energies, and then clarify with the Tarot of the Nile. Love this deck with its little gold lining there. Very, very pretty. But, you know, we're coming to the end of the year. And now it's an invitation to consider, which is like tarot is an invitation, right? To consider what has been and what we'd like to be. You know, what we're trying to release and then what we're trying to manifest. How is this year going to be different? And I'm not saying that in terms of, you know, New Year's resolution. Some of those work for some people and they don't for others. But what are you going to use this year for? You know, 2022, that's 6. That's the year of the lovers. Now we're going into 2023. So we've got 7. So it's all about spirit, connection to spirit, messages from spirit, big shifts, big energy changes. Woo. Movement into balance is what we've got coming up. Yeah, movement into balance. So the last few years, a lot of transition, a lot of flux, especially with, you know, having come out of COVID. I know for myself and a lot of people, a lot of death in the traditional sense of losing others, and death in the metaphorical sense of rebirth, right? Because as said in The Mummy, right, that line at the end of the movie, death is not the end, it's only the beginning. And energy just takes on other forms. And here, how funny, I just noticed that. So the card that actually came up, moving into balance, was the cover for our oracle cards here. So clearly something that we needed to see, right? Moving into balance is the theme, and that depth, that moonstone, the stars, the moon, but also that plant, that growing up. So this, you know, it looks like seeds, it looks like water, earth, everything, but it's all the elements of the cosmos. It's, you know, even in chaos, what appears to be chaos, everything is in perfect alignment, perfect balance. And I feel like that's the invitation going into this next year. That's because that's where my conversation is going currently. And it's also, it is the first card, 1, movement into balance. So, you know, it's that first leap, it's that first step after the leap of faith, you know, a new journey. But divine chaos, right? So just keep that in mind when it looks like everything has, you know, especially in the last few years, maybe fallen apart, completely changed. I know me moving right now, it's a completely different environment and people. I'll be starting a new job, and that can make us feel like we're a little out of balance sometimes. But really, it's just an invitation to do something new, right? To test our skills of balance in a new environment, because that's the divine order of things. When it looks like chaos, it's really a lot of times very perfect alignment. And the world will always knock you back into alignment when you get too far out. So if that was my one to come out, I think we might, anything else? Yes, okay. Inner journey. There we go. I love these because they're very rune-like. This one looks like runes. So I'm getting lots of like, obviously Celtic, but this one here, 35, it's also 8, right, cycles. Looks like runes, Celtic runes. Maybe you have a Celtic background or connect to that. But see the little circles, right? The little spinning emblem in the center there? To me, that's the immovable mover, that divine inner connection to the universe, you know, the universe exploring itself. all the elements of the universe are within you, right? Constantly moving and changing, but all of that is right within you. So we are the conscious manifester. So when it's chaos, as within, as so without. So if it feels like chaos on the inside, that's what's going to manifest on the outside. And that's what's important about this inner movement to balance, which is definitely, you know, what I get. The coming into balance after a long period of change and transition, death and rebirth. So getting a lot of death and rebirth here. So this morning is definitely an invitation to go within for those who are watching. So Spirit, tell us more here. Tell us more about this going within, this energizing and balancing. I'm really excited. I haven't really looked at this tarot deck too much, so I'm excited to see the artwork. Spirit, what do we need to know here? What do we need to know about this movement into balance, this inner journey, this invitation to explore going into the new year? I'm also hearing cosmology, and maybe I'm not saying that right, not cosmetology, maybe you're a cosmetologist, but cosmology, so a draw to that Iranian, like the Persian cosmology. So maybe you're Persian, you know, maybe you're feeling really connected to what's going on in Iran right now. I know my heart is absolutely broken for what, you know, we're going through right now as women and young people. So send them some love. But that's, I mean, that's a perfect example of that inner chaos. So finally manifesting on the outside, all of that turmoil, anger, all of that that's been hidden within that combined psyche of a population, that's coming out right now. And you know, it's a death and rebirth for that society, and I'm praying and hoping for the best in that rebirth for them. All those seeds that have been planted, that connection to the universe. And I just got the, you know, this looks like seeds to me, but I also just got the vision of, you know, putting a coffin in the ground, which is, you know, it's interesting that we do that. We put someone in a box in the ground versus allowing something just to break down naturally. But I mean, it's a perfect symbol for that going inward too, going into the dark, right? Being covered with dirt, letting the elements, you know, come through that ground, and then being reborn into the spiritual world, you know, whatever you may believe, another dimension, coming back, whatever you may believe. But it's also planting that seed in the ground, covering it with dirt, and then going into the dark. Like, in order for something to be birthed, it has to go into the dark. In order for something to grow and take root in the soil, it has to be in the dark for a while. And that's where all that beautiful movement comes in, and up to the sun. And so I truly feel like someone's breaking free right now. Queen of Wands. And outside of the traditional Rider-Waite, where it's just a little black cat, we have a beautiful Black Panther here. So I may be talking to someone who aligns with that. You know, a Nubian queen, a Black Panther, a Queen of Wands. So the magician, the mage. Now in this one, with this little pink there, the lotus, and what's interesting is her breasts are also exposed there. So maybe someone feeling comfortable in their skin, feeling exposed, but I would say in a way that they feel strong. They feel strong and powerful and sexy, and I would say someone who feels in love with their body and their self. You know, I get like that. I can see like a cat stretching out. So maybe you're very lithe. Do yoga, things like that. You know, but everything and all of these cards so far. Sorry, I have to keep showing you because I don't have my normal stand. You have all these little curves, all these little hooks coming up, every single one. Right? That plant coming up out of the ground. Growth. I get such huge growth and like the seeds starting to sprout. Even when it feels like maybe you're in a desert, the sun coming up over the edge in the background. I feel like I'm speaking to someone who's coming out of a dark night of the soul, and the fruits of that labor are starting to blossom, you know, coming out of that inner journey, starting to break through the soil and blossom into this beautiful new flower. Owning their body, owning their sexuality, owning their darkness, which is now at their side. It's a beautiful, strong energy. Spirit, tell me more. The Lovers in reverse. Oop. Oh, that's too much. There's a big chunk, so let's see what comes up again. I did see the 3 of coins, though, so. Ace of Wands. So, Ace of Wands coming out of the cave. See, coming out of the cave there, coming out of the clouds. I feel like this is someone coming out of the dark night of a soul, one that was triggered by a love connection, a passion connection, especially with this being in reverse. I feel like this triggered a major awakening for whoever I'm talking to. I'm gonna take a peek here and see what you're seeing. Yeah, see if you can see that, but we got the Queen of Wands, the Lovers in reverse, and then the new Ace of Wands, and see how both of those wands are pointed towards the Lovers now. So possibly 2 people here, 2 people who went on an inner journey, had some sort of even possibly separation, but something about it was out of balance here. A relationship that triggered a dark night of a soul, an inner journey, and now one or both of you has come out of this. Is coming out of this. I'm telling you, this is the beginning of a new, this is a sprouting coming out of a dark night of the soul. All right, and definitely with this dark cloud here, journey. And pyramids, that's a whole other, you get me on a whole tangent there, them being on ley lines and extraterrestrial portals, but I digress. I feel like this is, I'm speaking to someone who's coming out of a dark night of the soul, triggered by a passionate love connection, especially with the wands here. And someone, you may be an Aries, fire sign even. Let's see if I just fell on the foot. Ace of Swords in reverse. No longer in the dark. So we've got definitely some new starts here. So we've got Ace of Wands and Ace of Swords in reverse. Right? So that truth in the dark, that same cloud. So like I said, someone coming out of that cave, like the allegorical cave, if you ever look that up, if you know anything about, the allegorical cave, cave of ignorance, right? So once you are enlightened, once you know, you can't unsee, right? You can't go back in the dark. You can't go back to sleep. And I feel like this is, I'm speaking to someone or multiple people that can no longer go back to sleep. They've gone into the dark and they've mastered it. And now that's helping them move into balance and grow into something new. Tell me a little bit more here, Spirit. Coming out of the cave of wonders. Magician in reverse. 1-1. So see, in both of these, our first card here, all of the elements present, moving into balance. Magician 1, all of the elements present. Magician's also the trickster, right? He's even got his little curved one there. But the creator or the trickster, right? He works with dark and light magic. And I feel like that's what's coming into balance, especially with the Queen of Wands here, who is an excellent partner, right? I think in a lot of ways for the Queen of Wands, because she is very magical. She's the most magical queen in the deck. So with the Lovers here, this storyline reads a couple ways. I'm speaking to a masculine or a feminine that was in a love connection that triggered this, right? Two magicians, two manifestors, two spiritually inclined people that triggered an awakening in one another, right? And this was out of balance, especially with the Magician showing up in reverse. One or both of these people were out of balance. And now, or this is one particular individual whose masculine, feminine energies were out of balance, and whatever love situation they found themselves in triggered this and put them into balance. Either way, it's the same thing. It's masculine and feminine energies, just either in one body or two bodies, okay? But this person is coming out of this dark night of the soul, and is now sitting on their throne, prepared to move forward. Clear skies. Where there were dark skies, now there are clear skies. No longer journeying in the desert. Spirit, tell me more. So how have you been, journeying in the desert? How have you felt? Page of Pentacles in reverse. Perhaps you felt a lack of financial means. So a lot of pages, a lot of aces, a lot of new energy here. Like I said, a new start at the beginning after going on an inner journey. Wanting a new beginning, but not investment. There's no longer an investment here. But as I said, where do you feel like you've been lacking? And perhaps that's been in your money, or your connection to the earth. Maybe you haven't been feeling very connected. Maybe you've been, up in the air a little bit, up in your head a little bit, especially with, being in that cave, right? Hopefully this makes sense. Spirit, tell me more. King of Swords. Yeah, someone who's been through it and now standing very firmly in their truth and their knowing. No longer ignorant, no longer blind. No longer willing to invest in unbalanced relationships. No longer in the dark. And what's interesting, right, with our cards here, we have the Queen of Wands and the Ace of Wands. We have the King of Swords and the Ace of Swords in reverse. So I very well could be speaking to a lover partnership, right? Someone who's not operating like in truth and integrity, who maybe lied to themselves, lied to this other person, right? But this feminine energy is no longer blind. She's no longer blind. She's no longer in the cave. She's no longer believing this, and she's ready for a new, fresh start, one that she's manifesting. I believe that these go together here. Lovers in the middle. No longer an investment in this. No longer wanting to invest in this. Yeah, that looks right. Tell me more about this Queen of Wands. Feminine energy, wanting to start a new journey, new inner journey. But like I said, I feel like this is someone who's gone inward and who's coming out. 6 of Wands in reverse. So much fire here. But a burden. Feeling a little defeated. Perhaps feeling defeated in love. Right? Thinking you can manifest, trying to manifest a new beginning and feeling defeated in that. Spirit, tell me about this King of Swords. You know, when I see these two looking at each other, I see these two watching each other, but justice. Judgment has been called. So, Libra energy as well. A lot of Libra energy actually here. Things that were out of balance, unfair. Perhaps an unfair investment. Judgment will be called here. Justice will be called here. In terms of this relationship for both people. Right? For both people. Like I said, I one or more people here who've gone inward, and this situation, this lover's movement into balance, justice. This whole situation, everything that looked like chaos, this is going to come into balance. This is what's happening. It's moving into balance right now. So, definitely getting a message of continue to go inward throughout the end of the year and see where things may still be out of balance, right? 6 of Wands in reverse, that's a 6, that's even, right? In reverse, there's still some imbalances. There's still some imbalances in terms of this feminine and masculine energy. And you can't invest. You can't flip over the Lovers, the Magician. You can't create a new start, a new investment here in this love situation when things are out of balance, right? And if this is something you want to be available to you, a new start with this person, or in love generally, right? No longer being blind to things of the past. If you want a new start in love, then things need to be equal. It needs to be the right partner. You need to be giving equally to yourself. I just flipped over there. Judgment. Yeah. Mummies coming up there. So again, death and rebirth. You got mummies coming back alive here. One still wrapped up and one breaking free. So death and rebirth. Spiritual rebirth. So the energy going forward into this next year and right now, in this moment, in this day, is judgment. Judgment being placed by the divine in your life, in this love situation. And that's what's going to carry you into this next year. Is no longer accepting less than what you deserve, whether it be in work, in love, and for yourself, right? But this judgment's already been placed. on this particular love situation, which is why there is not a new beginning here. No longer operating in the dark. And like I said, why maybe it feels like chaos right now. A new seed is growing. A new seed is coming up. A new start is happening. There's a lot of new energy here. While some of it might feel like it's a little blocked, this is part of the death and rebirth process. This is part of the transition process, the transformation process. Knight of Cups. And then we have a new emotional offer. Right? A new emotional offer moving forward. The Knight of Cups, you know, he doesn't always think about how he rushes in, but he's got genuine love and interest and passion. He's maybe not always the most emotionally mature, but he's emotionally available. And perhaps that means one or both of these people will grow from this situation and perhaps come back together with a new emotionally available offer. Right? The first emotion I'm seeing on the table. Maybe both of these people are ready for a new start in love with each other, right? Or someone else. But that judgment, I think, has already been made. Right? I think that judgment's already been made after Hermit energy on the table. Definitely getting Virgo here as well. Start to wrap this up here. Ooh, I got two. All right, so we got the Four of Cups, contemplation, quiet contemplation, and strength. Judgment. Okay. So, to me, this is someone who is having the strength to make the tough decision, who's weighing these choices, right? Who's weighing this past relationship, possible any future relationship, any new emotional offers, or how they want to do things going forward. And you know, where there's strength means that the devil was there, and this is compassion for self and compassion for others, knowing that whatever chaos that showed up in the past was working for everyone's good. But I definitely see someone who, moving forward, is going to have the strength to take the cup being offered and move forward more availably, more emotionally than before. You know, still perhaps not always the most mature, right? Not stepped into that fully matured energy, but who's really trying to move into balance, who's trying to balance the head with the heart, right? And doing so in a very, very passionate, very analytical way as well, but an emotionally available way. And it is really beautiful, self-compassionate energy. And while I can't say if this is a couple situation that's going to come back together, I do see two individuals, and one individual in particular who has who's really opened up their arms to themselves and been working on taming their own beasts, who is loving themselves and moving forward, who's going to offer the cup of love to themselves before anybody else. Spirit, give me one more here. Seven of Swords in reverse. Yeah, no longer no longer stuck in the mud, right? No longer stuck in the mud. No longer operating out of a space of, I would say, I don't want to say a lack of personal integrity, but no longer compromising oneself to get what they want, or to be accepted, or to be loved, who is no longer settling for this kind of like in and out thievery energy, whether it be in work, in love. Obviously there's a lot of lovers is on the table, but who's no longer compromising their integrity, right? So masculine moving into balance, masculine energy in terms of the analytical brain, right? No longer compromising one's integrity. Someone who's coming out of a place of feeling defeated in sex and passion, and maybe who's felt like it, you know, the things they've been giving to haven't been balanced, who's coming into a new start with that, and who has found a new emotional well within themselves, a new compassion within themselves. Yeah, the star, Aquarius. Big, beautiful energies here. Who is following their northern star. So let me know if this is resonating with you. I'm going to get one last oracle card and then close this up, just as an overall energy. So use this as an invitation to contemplate today, you know, tomorrow, next few days. Just, you know, looking for that wellspring of life within you, that balance within you, the analytical mind, of the heart, of the desires, the passions, the things we want to manifest in the world. And have compassion with yourself. Take some time to go within, contemplate, you know, where you want to put your energy and your love into, and then allow that to lead you into the new year. Oops. Omens. 31:4. Messages from spirit. Hawks. You might see some hawks and a lot of birds coming. I just saw a very, very big one come in very close yesterday, so I'm going to take that as an omen for myself. But know that there's still a lot of things that you don't know, right? There's still a lot of things that you don't know. Look at this first. Moving into balance. You know, Spirit is going to be all over you this year, and it's going to be sending you signs left and right. And it's your job to listen to your intuition and interpret those signs, those runes for you, and to trust yourself. Go within, right? Because not everything's illuminated. There's so much more. There's so much more here that's still left to be seen in this next year, in your life. And you know, the signals and omens and signs that you're receiving, they're not just coincidences. It's Spirit trying to talk to you. It's a call, and it's a call for you to listen. So I hope this was helpful, my loves. I will see you again very soon, and I hope you have a wonderful day.